Honestly, I have just been going through a lot of things lately, and it just brought me back to the roots of why I made this YouTube channel, and that was to share my thoughts on the experiences that I go through, specifically in regards to mental health. I mean, if you've noticed, this channel has taken quite a turn towards consciousness, self-development, and that kind of stuff, and I'm still with it. I still see that as a very valid way of discovering yourself, through divination and just stuff like that. I guess what I'm noticing is that this community has turned into larger than life kind of thing for me to fit into, and I just realized that that's not really my scene. Before we get into this, hi, my name is Paige. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post videos about tarot, spirituality, mental health, all things like that, but overall just consciousness is where this is rooted at. I made my first ever video. I really was coming from a place of trying to understand my own mental health and mental health in regards to the rest of the world. Obviously, if one person struggles so intensely with mental health, I figured that I couldn't be alone. There had to be more people out there like me, and I found them. So Sadie just came in to say hi, so hello again from her. She's wanting to make an effort to come into my videos again, as you can see. Yeah, anyways, with this new change in just my perspective and how I've been able to grow throughout the past months of having this channel, I recognize that going back to the root of why I started this, it's still really important to talk about mental health in terms that people understand, because not everybody's spiritual, not everybody understands what consciousness even is. It's kind of an esoteric term, and I don't blame anybody for not really wanting to look into it because it is kind of a vague topic to dive into. There's also this clash between spirituality and religion, and certain people, if they've had bad experiences with religion, are very open to different things of spirituality, or religion makes you have that kind of mindset. There's just so many different examples of how people think and how people grow, and there's not one right or wrong way to do it. However, there is something that unifies us all, and that is genuinely what this channel is about. Honestly, I'm just sick of steering towards things that seem to be just in the spiritual community, or only if you believe them, because this is universal law. This is physics. This isn't just some kind of bullshit that I'm just trying to tell you about. Like, this is my real life experience with these universal laws and how they actually are relevant to your mental health, your physical health, and just how you live on this earth. I'm not gonna lie, honestly, my mental health has been all over the place lately, and it just felt wrong for me to keep coming on here and trying to help everybody else with what they're going through when I don't even really understand what I'm going through half the time. But that's where I talk about duality so much, and that's what I mean when I talk about duality so much, that you will never know it all. I mean, we have knowings, we have this understanding, and there are people that do, I think, have a better grasp on what's happening in this world than others, but we all are going through our different experiences. Some of us are more developed in other areas than others, and that's not a bad thing. That doesn't separate you at all. If anything, I talked about this in my latest blog post on my WordPress, link down below, but I talked about the fact that we're all going through processes. We all have these unique experiences and views on the world because we all go through different journeys and different events that change our mind, change our perception on things. It's all about being able to share your expression with another person for what it is, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. We're all experiencing things for how we are, and the more unity we can find in those kind of moments and recognize that, you don't know it all, but you don't know nothing at the same time, it's really empowering, and that's what I want to get back to on this channel. I want to talk about the fact that mental health starts from the choices that you make every day. It's not some crazy external thing that is forced upon you and forced down your throat and you're just broken, because that's not what mental health is. Mental health and consciousness are the same exact thing. Consciousness is the awareness of your mental health, though. Mental health ties in more of your egoic side, the other side of things that we don't necessarily like to deal with. Consciousness is a lot nicer. It's that love, awareness type energy where your mental health is seen in this negative kind of context, when in reality, they're the same thing. At least for me, it's no more of, just the tarot community or just the spiritual community or just the mental health. It's all together. It's all meant to be together, because everybody has insights that are worth knowing and worth sharing with other people. We all have different patterned ways that we are able to understand different experiences, different situations, so there's so much value in sharing that. Ultimately, you're opening up another pathway, another connection for another person to experience. You see how that works? Go figure, this turned into a rant, so if you're keeping up with me, great, comment down below, and if I've lost you, also comment down below, and I'm sorry in advance. But I'm just at the point where I see people that are acting so victim to these mental health disorders, these mental health conditions, when in reality, you know, we're all creating our own reality. Additionally, I feel like people in mental health fields or people that are getting into mental health probably hate to hear that, because yeah, we do have things that happen to us that make us fall victim in situations. In reality, that happens to every single person. It's the matter of how you cope with it and how you've learned to cope with it that you can go about it. But like I said, you know, we're all in our own journeys. We're all in our own positions on our journey. So some people are not going to be willing to see the power of being a victim. Just the power you have when you recognize that you have some sort of mental health disorder. You know, you're not broken, you're not disordered, you're not working correctly. Your body's just conditioned to adapt to things differently than other people, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. You know, it may cause you distress, but that's what you should focus on. The dis-ease is what you need to be focusing on. It's not the disease in general. It's not I am this kind of mental health disorder. You're not this mental health disorder. Your consciousness, your awareness experiencing itself. The more that you become aware of your situation, the more that you're allowing yourself to see that these things are connected to you in a good way. It's not a poor woe is me kind of situation. It's not like these terrible traumatic events happen to you to ruin your life. Honestly, that's such an easy way to look at it. I'm a personal example of that. I spent years of my life feeling such a victim mentality about traumatic things that, you know what, I didn't deserve to go through. I'll just say it out there. You don't deserve to go through the things that, you know, set you up for these mental health disorders, but do you need to go through them? Is that part of the process? Absolutely. The more that you choose to identify with the awareness of that condition instead of the condition itself, you're going to start seeing that, you know, your mental health is just a small sliver of this consciousness, of this whole beingness that we have to do here on earth. It's so much larger than what we claim it to be in certain scenarios, because, I mean, that's just where people are, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to repeat that right now. There is nothing wrong with where you are in your journey, whether you understand this or not. And that's another thing I want to add. The spiritual community right now is having a little bit of a problem. Everybody is starting to feel like they don't fit in, but they kind of want to fit in. And it's like, it's time to make our own niche. It's time to make our own category, our own area where we can just be free to be ourselves and then allow things to come to us that fit that vibe. This isn't the time to sieve yourself into different categories and try to sort yourself out and try to label yourself, because the more that you try to hang on to that belief system that you are only this or you're only that, or you're enabling a mental health disorder or this egoic conditioning where you think that you're not enough, because that's honestly what mental health disorders all come down to. It's a lack of self-love and a lack of self-appreciation and worthiness in different areas of our lives, and we learn to cope different ways. So, you know, it all comes back together. It all comes back to your connection, to your spirituality, into this oneness, this beingness that is happening, intertwining all of us. That is consciousness. That is the point of all of this. It's no running from awareness. It is literally going to come and find you and make you deal with it, head on, especially this year. If you watched my last video on the 2020 energies, I mean, you know that this is something that is unavoidable, and it's undeniable too how much power that you have. So yeah, in conclusion, I just want to say that mental health and consciousness, spirituality, astrology, divination, any kind of movement, any kind of way you want to go about your self-discovery and your self-development, that's fine. It's okay. But don't negate your own power. Don't play the victim in areas where you're not a victim, because you're never the victim. You always have the opportunity to heal. You always have the opportunity to learn more, to expand your viewpoint and your awareness, because the more that you do that, the more you'll see that the topics and the situations that you're spending all this time on are already fixing themselves. They're already trying to heal themselves. And the more that you try to get involved in it, and the more you try to make things a certain way or try to fit into these certain categories, you're just denying yourself of all the other good things and good ways that the things you want in your life can manifest. So get out of your own way. That's honestly what this video is going to be about, I guess, in the end. That is, we all have mental health, we all have consciousness. We all have these fighting, nagging, evil little thoughts in our heads that aren't even that. They're just thoughts. They're just whatever you react to them as. So take your control back, not only in your mind, but in how you present yourself into the world. And you know what? Me too, going forward. Like I said, I have been going through so much lately. My mental health has been the best it's ever been, the most stable it's ever been, and it's also been the worst that it's been in literal years. Does that mean that I'm crazy, disordered, and broken? Hell no. I am a person experiencing my life and experiencing the journey as it is. I'm not complaining. And I feel like the more that we just experience and talk about what we're experiencing in the most authentic, true to self kind of expression, not going to have the same kind of issues going forward. This is time for us to learn from ourselves and learn from these repeated patterns that we have in our head. Claim them for what they are, which are just little things to notice for you to heal. That's all it is. That's all this ever will be. So stop taking life so seriously, me included. This is just as much a message to me as it is to you guys. So yeah, I'm really happy to just get this off my chest. Honestly, I've just had a lot of things like bubbling up lately that I'm like, I don't even know where to start with sharing this. So maybe this rant of a video will be where it needs to start. So yeah, I'm gonna go relax or just self-care or do something to show myself that I love myself, because why not? I deserve it, you deserve it, all deserve to feel love and compassion, so why not be the person in your own life to initiate it for yourself? Yeah, that's where I'm coming from this video. Hopefully you like it, so if you do, make sure you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down if you hate it. I don't care, you do you, but of course if you're experiencing any kind of this weird like fluctuation in energy, it's been a crazy past few months for me. I can just tell you that I'm not the only person that's going through this, so as always, let's make a community about it. I'm revamping my Instagram, my WordPress, and all that stuff, and it's linked down below, so check it out. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure you subscribe. I will be back with another video soon, and I'll see you then. Bye.